Minister responsible for Pike River re-entry and Justice Minister Andrew Little. Morena i te minata.
Morena.
Sonia Rockhouse says you can't take responsibility, then say it's not your fault. Is she right?
I think what she is saying, that the people who were involved in making those decisions and judgments 4 years ago, look, they're not there now. Worksafe is set up. It operates differently. It has a dedicated focus to enforcing health and safety laws and prosecuting where that's the proper thing to do. That wasn't the case at the time of the Pike River tragedy.
She says that officials are distancing themselves from the decision not to prosecute. Are officials passing the buck?
Look, anybody looking at what happened at the time that this crooked deal, frankly, was done, could not be anything other than outraged. I remember very clearly the day I heard what had happened, and just was frankly gobsmacked. So good on Anna Osborne and Sonia Rockhouse for taking the case as far as they have, right to the Supreme Court. Now, bearing in mind that the High Court and the Court of Appeal both sort of effectively endorsed the deal, it was the wrong thing to do. And it wasn't just what the then Department of Labour was doing. You also had a new set of prosecution guidelines that I think where government agencies responsible for prosecuting breaches of law and regulation were looking for ways to minimise prosecutions being taken. So one of the things that comes out of the Supreme Court decision yesterday now must be that those prosecution guidelines are reviewed.
Do you know if there was much political oversight around the decision not to prosecute at the time?
There are a lot of things I'll criticise the previous government for, but I'd be pretty confident that there would be no ministerial interference in individual prosecution decisions. I would never go that far, but what I can say is that that was the government that was responsible for the prosecution guidelines coming out of the Crown Law Office, and they needed to be reviewed.
Are there any options left at all for legal action against Peter Whittall, do you think?
Well, the nature of that case where the money was paid over was that the then Department of Labour didn't produce any evidence, so the charges were dismissed. It acts as an acquittal, so he can't be recharged for those particular charges. The police at the time looked at charging him or prosecuting him under the Crimes Act, but declined to do so. So there's not very many options in terms of that.
Civil action, is that an option? Civil action?
Well, the problem with that is that what you're ultimately suing for is the death of those 29 men. That's effectively a personal injury case, and that's prevented by the accident compensation legislation. So I think that's why I think people might understand now why the Pike River re-entry project is so vital and so important in terms of the family's pursuit of justice. If we have a chance to get in there and get other evidence that tells a more accurate story or a different story, and as another chance to hold people to account, then that's why we must do that.
Minister, in your other portfolio, you were in Ngāpuhi country a week ago. How was the hui of Rangatira, and are you heading in the right direction there?
Well, I had a series of meetings, and that sort of culminated in the public meeting last Saturday morning. I felt it went very well, and the feedback I've had since suggests to me that there's a positive spirit. Look, we're a long way yet from drawing things together and perhaps getting around a table to actually talk about a settlement, but I felt that people regarded it well. They could see that I am serious about giving priority to getting our pui moving and progress around redress for treaty breaches, because that's what we've got to do.
Kia ora, thank you. That was the Minister responsible for Pike River re-entry, Justice Minister and Treaty Negotiations Minister Andrew Little. It's 18 minutes past 7.
New figures.